The world around you softens, the edges blurring into a gentle haze, as if painted by a sleepy artist's brush. A quiet hum begins, a subtle vibration that seems to emanate not from a speaker, but from the very air you breathe, a lullaby woven from ancient threads. You feel a gentle current, a breeze that whispers secrets from a time long past, pulling you deeper into a landscape that stretches beyond the familiar. Imagine, if you will, the scent of damp earth after a summer rain, mingling with the faint sweet perfume of pine needles warmed by a distant sun. You hear the rustle of leaves, a rhythmic, almost hypnotic sound, and the distant, almost imperceptible murmur of a forgotten river. This is not a place you visit, but a feeling you inhabit, a quiet embrace from a world that once was, and in some ways, still is. As your eyes grow heavy, you sense the vastness of an untamed land, stretching from the towering peaks to the shimmering coastlines, a canvas painted with the slow, deliberate strokes of seasons passing. You probably won't make it through this day, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Before we completely drift away, if you find yourself enjoying this quiet journey, a gentle tap on that like button and a soft click on subscribe would be deeply appreciated. It helps us continue to weave these sleepy tales for you. And if the mood strikes, consider leaving a comment below with your current location and the local time. It's always fascinating to know where in the world our quiet companions are drifting off. Now, let's ease into tonight's journey. A voyage not through space, but through the delicate tapestry of time into the quiet wisdom of indigenous American dream catchers. You find yourself standing at the edge of a small clearing, bathed in the soft, diffused light filtering through a canopy of ancient trees. The air here is remarkably still, holding a reverence that makes you instinctively lower your voice, even if you were just thinking. There's a certain quality to the light, a golden hour glow that seems to last forever, painting the undergrowth in shades of amber and moss. Around you, the trees stand like silent sentinels, their branches reaching up towards a sky that promises either stars or more soft, endless twilight. The ground beneath your feet is yielding, covered in a thick carpet of fallen leaves and pine needles, each step a muffled whisper. You notice the way the air smells, a blend of decaying wood and something fresh, like wild mint, a scent that is both earthy and invigorating, yet oddly soothing. It's the kind of place where time seems to stretch and thin, where the concerns of the modern world feel as distant as a forgotten dream. You glance up, and through a small clearing in the leaves, you catch a glimpse of something woven, delicate, swaying ever so slightly in an almost imperceptible breeze. It's circular, adorned with feathers and beads, catching the light in a way that makes it seem almost alive. This is not a decoration, not merely an ornament, but a tool, a silent guardian in the vast interconnected world of the Anishinaabe, also known as the Oji people. These are the keepers of the dream catchers, and their story, like the slow unfurling of a fern in spring, is one of deep connection to the spirit world. You might think, oh, just a pretty little craft project, but these intricate webs were far more than that. They were, in a very real sense, a form of spiritual cybersecurity, guarding against the rogue pop-up ads of the dreamscape. The sun begins its impossibly slow descent, painting the sky with hues of lavender and peach, a masterpiece only truly appreciated in its gentle, unhurried unfolding. You can hear the distant hoot of an owl, a mournful yet comforting sound that punctuates the growing silence. The air grows cooler, carrying with it the crispness of the approaching night. You feel a quiet calm settle over you, a sense of belonging to this ancient rhythm. The dream catcher, still swaying, seems to pulse with a gentle energy, an almost imperceptible hum that resonates with the natural world around it. You wonder about the hands that wove it, the intentions poured into each knot, each bead, each feather. There's a story there, a quiet narrative of protection and hope. The Anishinaabe people believed that the night air was filled with dreams, both good and bad. The dream catcher, hung above the bed or in the lodge, was intended to filter these dreams. The good dreams, they believed, knew the way through the central hole, slipping gently down the feathers to the sleeping person below. The bad dreams, however, would become entangled in the web, held there until the first rays of the morning sun struck them, causing them to evaporate like dew. It's a beautifully pragmatic solution to nighttime anxieties, far more elegant than a weighted blanket, though perhaps less cuddly. Historians still debate the precise origin and widespread use of dream catchers among all indigenous American tribes, as their primary association is with the Anishinaabe and Lakota cultures. Yet, the concept of a protective nocturnal filter, a sentinel against the unseen, resonates deeply within many oral traditions. It speaks to a fundamental human desire for safety, for peace in the vulnerable hours of sleep. Imagine, for a moment, having a dedicated web filter for your subconscious, catching all the spam and letting only the pleasant notifications through. It's an appealing thought, isn't it? As the last slivers of twilight fade, giving way to the velvet expanse of night, the stars begin to emerge, one by one, like tiny pinpricks of light in a cosmic tapestry. You lie back, perhaps on a bed of soft moss or dried leaves, and gaze upwards. The sheer number of stars is astounding, far more than you've ever seen in the light-polluted skies of the modern world. Each one seems to shimmer with its own quiet story, ancient and profound. The air is cool now, but not unpleasantly so, a fresh caress against your skin. The scent of pine and damp earth intensifies, grounding you in this primal landscape. You feel the presence of the forest around you, a living, breathing entity, its ancient trees whispering secrets to the gentle night breeze. There's a certain peace here, a profound stillness that invites introspection and quiet contemplation. You might even find yourself drifting, just a little, towards that place between wakefulness and sleep. The dream catcher, hanging nearby, now appears almost ethereal against the darkening sky, its intricate web a delicate silhouette. It seems to pulse with a soft, almost imperceptible energy, as if silently gathering the hopes and anxieties that float through the night. The Anishinaabe did not merely invent a craft. They embodied a philosophy, a way of living that was deeply entwined with the natural world and the spiritual realm. Their knowledge was passed down through generations, not in dusty textbooks, but through stories, through song, and through the very act of living in harmony with their surroundings. It was an education gleaned from observing the subtle shifts in the wind, the patterns of the stars, and the whispers of the ancient trees. No pop quizzes, just constant immersive learning. The concept of the dream catcher wasn't born from a sudden revelation, but evolved from a rich tapestry of beliefs and practical observations. For instance, a major historical fact is that the Anishinaabe people believed deeply in the interconnectedness of all living things, seeing spirits not only in humans and animals, but also in trees, rocks, and even the wind. This worldview permeated every aspect of their daily lives, from how they hunted and gathered to how they healed and celebrated. The dream catcher, then, wasn't just about bad dreams. It was about maintaining balance, about honoring the spiritual forces that shaped their existence. Think of it as an ancient form of feng shui for your sleep cycle, ensuring good vibes only. You might notice, as the moon begins its slow ascent, a subtle shift in the air, a feeling of greater serenity. The sounds of the forest seem to recede slightly, replaced by a deeper quiet. This is the time when the veil between worlds is thinnest, when the spiritual realm feels closer. The Anishinaabe paid close attention to these subtle shifts, understanding that certain times and places held particular power. One obscure yet fascinating cultural tidbit is that among some Anishinaabe communities, it was believed that spiders were sacred creatures, representing protection and the interconnectedness of life. The web of the dream catcher, therefore, was not merely an arbitrary design, but a deliberate mimicry of the spider's own intricate and protective creations. So, if you're someone who normally swats away spiders, consider this a re-education. You're essentially destroying tiny, eight-legged architects of cosmic security. As the night deepens, you can almost feel the gentle hum of the earth beneath you, a slow, steady pulse that mirrors your own. The stars blaze with an intensity that is both humbling and awe-inspiring, each one a distant sun, a world unto itself. The dream catcher, in its silent vigil, seems to gather their light, transforming it into a soothing glow. You imagine the countless nights it has stood watch, a quiet guardian against the unseen currents of the dream world. The feathers, often from sacred birds like owls or eagles, were not merely decorative but were believed to guide the good dreams down to the sleeper. Each one a tiny feathery slide into sweet slumber. The beads, sometimes made of wood, stone, or even bones, were said to represent the good dreams that had been caught and blessed. It's a beautiful system, isn't it? A testament to a culture that found profound meaning in the mundane and sacred in the subtle. It's far more sophisticated than simply counting sheep, though perhaps less tedious. You begin to feel the gentle pull of sleep, a soft invitation to surrender to the night. The air grows heavy with peace, and the sounds of the distant forest become a lullaby. You are safe here, under the watchful eye of the dream catcher, suspended in the quiet embrace of an ancient wisdom. The morning light, when it finally arrives, isn't a harsh, abrupt assault, but a gradual, tender awakening. You feel it first as a subtle brightening behind your eyelids, then as a gentle warmth on your face. The sounds of the forest begin to stir, a quiet chorus of birdsong replacing the owl's nocturnal serenade. The air, still cool and fresh, carries the crisp scent of new growth and dew-kissed earth. You open your eyes to a world washed clean, bathed in the soft, diffused light of dawn. The dream catcher, which had been a silent silhouette against the night sky, now shimmers with a renewed vitality, its feathers catching the sunlight like tiny prisms. It looks less like a filter and more like a miniature portal, still holding secrets from the night. The good dreams, presumably, have made their graceful descent, while the bad ones have vanished with the first touch of the sun, like forgotten worries on a Monday morning. There's a distinct feeling of lightness, a sense of having slept deeply and well, as if the dream catcher truly did its job, allowing only the most pleasant narratives to unfold within your slumber. It's a testament to the profound comfort found in ritual, in the belief that certain objects possess a power to protect and guide. You might even find yourself wishing for a modern equivalent, something to sift through the endless notifications of daily life, letting only the truly good news filter through. The construction of a dream catcher was, and remains, a meticulous process, imbued with intention and reverence. It wasn't something cobbled together in 5 minutes from a craft kit. Each component held meaning. The hoop itself, often made from a willow branch, was a symbol of the circle of life, representing the sun and moon, and the continuous flow of existence. This cyclical view of time and life is a major historical fact underpinning many indigenous American spiritualities, a stark contrast to the linear, start and end approach often taken by other cultures. No arbitrary deadlines here, just the endless rhythm of creation and decay. You might notice the gentle curve of the hoop, perfectly imperfect, reflecting the organic materials from which it was crafted. The web, woven within the hoop, was traditionally made from sinew or nettle fibers, painstakingly laced by hand. This intricate weaving was not just about creating a functional filter. It was an act of meditative prayer, each knot a silent affirmation of protection. You might think, oh, so basically ancient macrame, but it was far more profound than that. The small opening in the center was crucial, serving as the gateway for good dreams. Imagine a bouncer at the most exclusive dream club, letting in only the VIPs. One obscure cultural tidbit is that some Anishinaabe traditions held that the dream catcher was not only for human dreams, but also for the dreams of the natural world, filtering the subtle energies that permeated the forests and waters. So, the trees, the deer, the very rivers might have been having better dreams thanks to these silent guardians. It adds another layer of interconnectedness, doesn't it? As the sun climbs higher, casting long shadows through the trees, you can feel the energy of the day beginning to awaken. The peaceful stillness of dawn gives way to the subtle hum of life resuming its daily rhythms. You watch a squirrel dart up a tree, its tiny claws scratching softly against the bark, and a bird hops across a branch, its song a bright, clear note in the morning air. The dream catcher, still swaying gently, seems to absorb the new light, as if recharging for the night to come. Historians still debate the exact methods of teaching these intricate weaving techniques to younger generations, whether it was through direct instruction, observation, or a combination of both. However, it's clear that the knowledge was passed down with great care, ensuring the continuity of this powerful cultural practice. It's a subtle reminder that some of the most profound lessons are learned not in a classroom, but through shared experience and quiet observation. The morning air is crisp, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth, a refreshing contrast to the more stale air of a modern bedroom. You stand and stretch, feeling the stiffness of sleep slowly dissipate, and take a deep, cleansing breath. The world around you hums with the quiet energy of a new day beginning. The sun, now fully above the horizon, casts dappled light through the leaves, creating shifting patterns on the forest floor. You notice the dew still clinging to the blades of grass, sparkling like tiny diamonds in the sunlight. The dream catcher, still hanging from its chosen spot, seems to emanate a subtle warmth, as if infused with the energy of the rising sun. It no longer filters dreams, but stands as a symbol of protection carried forward from the night. It reminds you that even after a restful sleep, the world is still out there, ready for you to engage with its gentle challenges and quiet joys. This feeling of being grounded, of truly being present in the moment, is a profound gift offered by this journey into the past. It's a sensation far more invigorating than a strong cup of coffee, and with significantly fewer jitters. The purpose of the Dreamcatcher was not solely about preventing nightmares. It was also profoundly linked to the concept of good dreams, the visions, inspirations, and guidance that came from the spirit world. These weren't just pleasant reveries. They were believed to be crucial for decision-making, for understanding the path ahead, and for receiving blessings. A major historical fact is that many indigenous American cultures placed immense importance on dreams as a conduit for spiritual communication and guidance from ancestors or spirit guides. So, a good dream wasn't just a fun narrative. It was a divine memo, a celestial WhatsApp message, if you will, offering wisdom. Imagine receiving an important strategy briefing from a universe while you're tucked snugly in bed. It certainly beats scrolling through endless news feeds for guidance. The feathers, you recall, were the conduits for these good dreams, guiding them down to the sleeper like tiny feathered slides. As you walk slowly through the clearing, you notice the intricate details of the natural world around you. A spider's web, gossamer thin, glistening with dew. The delicate pattern of lichen on an ancient rock. The gentle sway of wildflowers in a patch of sunlight. This acute observation of nature, this deep respect for its subtle nuances, was central to the Anishinaabe way of life. One obscure cultural tidbit is that some traditions held that if a child had a particularly vivid or profound good dream, the dream catcher itself might be subtly adjusted or readorned to honor that specific dream, perhaps with a new feather or bead representing the vision received. It's like updating your spiritual software with new insights. This wasn't about materialism or collecting trinkets. It was about acknowledging and integrating the wisdom gleaned from the nocturnal realm. Historians still debate the degree to which individual interpretation played a role in understanding and acting upon these good dreams, as dream symbolism could be highly personal, yet also deeply rooted in communal beliefs. But what is certain is that dreams were taken seriously, far more than your typical "I dreamed I was flying and then I woke up" casual anecdote. The dream catcher, therefore, was not just a passive filter, but an active participant in this vital exchange between the physical and spiritual worlds. Its work was cyclical, ongoing, ensuring a continuous flow of beneficial nocturnal energies, a silent guardian in the grand theater of life and sleep. As the day progresses, the sun climbs higher, casting fewer shadows and more direct light upon the forest floor. You notice the vibrant green of new leaves, the rich browns of tree bark, and the occasional flash of a bird's colorful plumage. The air grows warmer, carrying the scent of warmed earth and blooming wildflowers. This shift in temperature and light marks the full embrace of the waking world, a time for activity and communal life. Yet, even in this bustling natural environment, a quiet reverence persists. The dream catcher, still holding its place of honor, seems to recede slightly into the background, its work temporarily paused, waiting for the return of twilight. It's like a beloved, well-worn book placed gently on a nightstand, ready for the evening's journey. You might feel a gentle pull to explore, to walk deeper into the woods, but a quiet voice reminds you to simply observe, to soak in the subtle details of this ancient world. It's a profound lesson in patience, something most of us in the modern world could use a good dose of, particularly when waiting for a notoriously slow internet connection. The materials used in crafting dream catchers were not chosen randomly. Each component held specific significance and was sourced directly from the natural world, reinforcing the deep connection between the Anishinaabe people and their environment. The primary material, the hoop, was almost always made from a willow branch, carefully bent into a circle while still pliable. Willow was chosen not just for its flexibility, but also for its symbolic association with healing and adaptability. This connection to willow for its therapeutic properties is a major historical fact, as various parts of the willow tree were used in traditional medicine for pain relief and fever reduction, predating modern aspirin by centuries. So, in a way, the dream catcher was not only a spiritual protector, but also had roots in ancestral pharmacology. You might find yourself absent-mindedly tracing the curve of an imaginary willow branch, appreciating the simple elegance of its form. The web, intricately woven within the hoop, was traditionally made from natural fibers like sinew or nettle stalks. The process of preparing these materials was laborious, requiring patience and skill, turning raw elements into strong, flexible threads. This was not a quick hobby craft. It was a deeply spiritual and practical endeavor. One obscure cultural tidbit is that the color of the sinew or nettle fibers, though often appearing natural or off-white, could sometimes be subtly tinted with natural dyes from berries or roots, adding another layer of quiet intention to the creation. Historians still debate the specific symbolic meanings of these subtle color variations across different family lineages, as much of this knowledge was passed down orally and remained within specific kinship groups. Imagine the conversations around the fire, discussing the perfect shade of forest green for a particularly important dream catcher. It puts our modern debates over paint swatches to shame, doesn't it? The beads, small and varied, were often made from wood, bone, or even shells, each one carefully selected and added. These weren't merely decorative. They were believed to represent the good dreams that had been caught and preserved, or even the dewdrops that had evaporated, taking bad dreams with them. As the afternoon light mellows, casting longer, softer shadows, you notice the subtle shifts in the forest's atmosphere. The air, while still warm, carries a hint of the day's gentle decline. The sounds of the forest become less energetic, more measured. A distant bird call, the rustle of leaves, the quiet murmur of the wind through the tall trees. The dream catcher, illuminated by the golden light, seems to glow, its presence a quiet reassurance in the vastness of the woods. It reminds you of the timeless rhythm of day and night, of waking and dreaming, a cycle that has unfolded for millennia. You feel a deepening sense of calm, an invitation to slow down and simply be present. It's a stark contrast to the frantic pace of the modern world, where even quiet moments are often punctuated by the insistent chirping of digital devices. Here, the only notifications are the whispers of the wind. The feathers adorning the dream catcher were perhaps its most visually striking element, but their purpose was far from merely aesthetic. They were carefully chosen, often from specific birds considered sacred by the Anishinaabe people. Eagle feathers, for instance, were highly prized, symbolizing courage, wisdom, and a connection to the Creator. Owl feathers, representing wisdom and the ability to see in the darkness, were also significant. This careful selection of feathers based on their symbolic meaning is a major historical fact, reflecting a widespread belief across many indigenous cultures that animals possessed unique spirits and powers that could be harnessed or respected. It's a sophisticated approach to biomimicry, long before we called it that, understanding that nature holds profound lessons and gifts. You might almost feel the soft brush of an imaginary feather against your cheek, a gentle reminder of this interconnectedness. The act of hanging the dream catcher, too, was steeped in tradition and purpose. It wasn't simply nailed to a wall. It was placed with intention, typically above the sleeping area of a child, or within the lodge itself, to ensure maximum efficacy in filtering dreams. This communal aspect of protection, where the well-being of the youngest members of the community was prioritized, speaks volumes about the societal values of the Anishinaabe. One obscure cultural tidbit is that sometimes small sacred bundles or personal charms might be tied to the dream catcher, imbuing it with even greater personal significance and protective power for the individual it was intended for. Imagine a tiny ancestral USB stick containing all your good vibes. Historians still debate the exact variations in these additional adornments across different clans and families, as practices were often highly localized and passed down orally. But the core purpose remained: to create a sacred space for restful, protected sleep, ensuring that nightmares were caught and dissipated like morning mist, leaving only the nurturing essence of good dreams to descend. This entire process, from material selection to placement, was a testament to a deeply spiritual and harmoniously integrated way of life. As evening descends, painting the sky with deepening hues of orange and purple, the forest air grows cooler and a profound stillness settles upon the clearing. The dream catcher, once again, takes center stage, catching the last remnants of daylight, its delicate web almost glowing with a faint inner luminescence. You feel the day's gentle winding down, a natural transition from activity to repose. The sounds that filled the afternoon, the rustle of leaves, the calls of birds, now give way to the quieter, more subtle whispers of the approaching night. It's a rhythm that feels both ancient and deeply comforting, a world away from the jarring notifications and endless demands of modern life. You might find yourself unconsciously slowing your breath, matching the calm pace of the environment around you. This peaceful surrender to the natural cycle is a vital part of understanding the world that embraced the dream catcher. The spiritual significance of the dream catcher extended beyond merely filtering dreams. It was deeply intertwined with the broader Anishinaabe cosmology and their understanding of the spirit world. Dreams were not seen as random neural firings, but as direct communications from the Great Spirit, ancestors, or animal guides. This profound belief in the spiritual guidance offered through dreams is a major historical fact that highlights the holistic nature of Indigenous American spiritual practices. It suggests that even in slumber, one could continue to learn, to receive wisdom, and to connect with forces beyond the tangible. Imagine having a nocturnal hotline to cosmic wisdom, far more reliable than any self-help podcast. This wasn't just about feeling good. It was about spiritual growth and communal well-being. One obscure cultural tidbit is that the dreamcatcher was sometimes seen as a miniature representation of the web of life, symbolizing the interconnectedness of all beings and the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Each strand in the web of the dreamcatcher mirrored the intricate relationships within nature. Historians still debate the extent to which these specific symbolic interpretations varied between different Anishinaabe bands and families, as oral traditions often held localized nuances. But the core idea of unity and interdependence remained a powerful underlying theme. As darkness fully embraces the forest, you notice the stars begin to prick through the deepening blue, their ancient light illuminating the stillness. The dreamcatcher, a silent guardian, waits patiently, ready to perform its nocturnal duty, ensuring that only the gentle whispers of beneficial dreams find their way through the intricate protective web. The night is now complete, a vast, star-studded canvas overhead. The air is cool and still, carrying the clean, earthy scent of the forest at rest. You lie back, gazing up at the shimmering expanse of the Milky Way, a river of stars that seems to flow directly through this ancient clearing. The silence is profound, broken only by the occasional soft hoot of a distant owl or the gentle rustle of leaves in a barely there breeze. It's a silence that invites deep introspection, a quiet space where the mind can wander freely, unburdened by the clamor of the day. The dreamcatcher, now almost invisible against the backdrop of the night sky, performs its silent vigil, its presence a comforting anchor in the vastness. You can almost feel the gentle hum of its protective energy, a subtle reassurance that the unseen world is being watched over. The act of giving a dreamcatcher was a profound gesture of love and protection, particularly when bestowed upon infants and young children. It was a tangible manifestation of a community's desire to safeguard its most vulnerable members, ensuring their peaceful rest and fostering their spiritual development from the earliest stages of life. His emphasis on protecting the dreams of children is a major historical fact, highlighting the deep care and foresight embedded within Anishinaabe societal structures. It's a far cry from simply handing over a brightly colored toy. This was a gift of spiritual security, a nocturnal bodyguard against the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or at least outrageous nightmares. You might notice, as you drift further into relaxation, that the concept of bad dreams in the Anishinaabe tradition wasn't necessarily about scary monsters under the bed, but often about dreams that could cause confusion, anxiety, or lead one astray from their spiritual path. The dreamcatcher, therefore, was a tool for clarity and positive guidance. One obscure cultural tidbit is that some elders would periodically cleanse their dream catchers by exposing them to the smoke of sacred herbs like sweetgrass or cedar, refreshing their protective energies. It was like a spiritual reset button, ensuring the filter remained unblocked. Historians still debate the precise rituals and frequency of these cleansing ceremonies, as such practices were often sacred and passed down through specific family lines. But the underlying intention was clear: to maintain the efficacy and sacredness of this vital nocturnal guardian. As your eyelids grow heavy, you trust in the quiet wisdom of the dream catcher, allowing yourself to sink deeper into the gentle embrace of sleep, knowing that only the most beneficial dreams will find their way to you. The night deepens, a profound stillness settling over the forest. The stars now blaze with an almost impossible brilliance, each one a tiny beacon in the cosmic ocean. The air is cool, fresh, and carries the faint, sweet scent of night-blooming flowers. You are completely immersed in this ancient quietude, feeling the gentle rhythm of the earth as it turns slowly on its axis. The dream catcher, a faint outline against the backdrop of the celestial sphere, seems to hum with an almost imperceptible energy, a silent sentinel standing guard over your slumber. It's a feeling of profound peace, a quiet embrace that pulls you deeper into relaxation. There's a certain magic to a truly dark night, isn't there? Far more enchanting than the glow of a smartphone screen, which, let's be honest, mostly just shows you pictures of other people's well-filtered dinners. The widespread adoption of the dream catcher by various indigenous American tribes beyond the Anishinaabe, and later its journey into mainstream popular culture, is a fascinating aspect of its history. While its origins are firmly rooted with the Anishinaabe people, the concept of a dream filtering device resonated deeply with other nations, particularly during the Pan-Indian movement of the 20th century. This movement, aiming to foster unity and shared identity among diverse indigenous groups, saw the dream catcher become a powerful symbol of Native American identity and spirituality. This cultural diffusion is a major historical fact, showcasing how symbols can transcend their original context to unite disparate groups. It's like a universally recognized peace sign, but for good dreams. You might imagine the quiet exchange of ideas, the sharing of traditions across vast landscapes. However, this journey into wider recognition also brought challenges, particularly concerning cultural appropriation and the commercialization of sacred objects. As dream catchers became popular souvenirs, their original spiritual significance was often diluted or lost, reduced to mere decorative items. One obscure cultural tidbit is that genuine, traditionally made dream catchers would often incorporate specific, personal elements like a baby's first tooth or a lock of hair from a loved one to imbue them with unique protective qualities for the individual they were intended for. These personalized touches would, of course, be absent from mass-produced versions. Historians still debate the precise impact of commercialization on the preservation of traditional dream catcher knowledge, especially among younger generations who might encounter the commercial version before learning about its true origins. But it highlights the delicate balance between cultural sharing and maintaining the integrity of sacred traditions. You can almost feel the quiet sigh of the ancestors, observing their sacred tool turn into a generic gift shop item, probably next to a novelty mug. The night air has grown cooler still, carrying a faint, sweet scent of damp earth and unseen blossoms. The silence is profound, the kind that lets you hear the soft beat of your own heart. Above, the stars continue their silent dance, a myriad of distant worlds shimmering in the inky blackness. You feel a deep sense of calm, a comfortable weight settling over you, gently urging you towards deeper slumber. The dream catcher, a faint presence in the darkness, continues its quiet vigil, its purpose unwavering. It's a testament to enduring belief, a quiet guardian in a world that often rushes headlong into chaos. You might find yourself drifting, just a little, towards that sweet spot between awareness and sleep, where thoughts become soft whispers and worries dissipate like morning mist. The process of dream interpretation was a crucial counterpart to the dream catcher's function. It wasn't enough to simply filter dreams. Understanding their messages was paramount. For the Anishinaabe, dreams often provided guidance, warnings, or insights into the spiritual realm. This meticulous attention to an interpretation of dreams is a major historical fact that illustrates the holistic approach to well-being and decision-making within many indigenous cultures. Dreams were essentially another form of communication, a nighttime news report from the universe, if you will, often requiring careful deciphering by elders or spiritual leaders. Imagine waking up and asking, "So, what did the cosmos tell me last night?" It certainly beats checking your email for urgent updates. The symbols within dreams were often rooted in the natural world animals. Elements, specific landscapes, and their meanings were understood within the cultural context of the community. A flying eagle in a dream might signify spiritual freedom, while a meandering river could represent the flow of life or a journey. One obscure cultural tidbit is that children were often encouraged to recount their dreams to elders each morning, not just for interpretation, but also as a way of fostering their spiritual connection and developing their understanding of their own inner world. It was like a morning show and tell, but with far deeper implications. Historians still debate the degree of individual freedom versus communal consensus in dream interpretation, as some dreams might have highly personal meanings, while others carried collective significance for the entire band. But the consistent effort to understand these nocturnal narratives highlights a culture deeply attuned to the subtleties of consciousness and the profound wisdom that can emerge from within. As you feel the gentle pull of sleep, imagine your own dreams unfolding, knowing that perhaps, somewhere, a silent web is working to ensure their clarity and benevolence. The night stretches on, a timeless expanse of soft shadows and starlit silence. You are suspended in this tranquility, feeling the cool breath of the ancient forest and the distant, rhythmic chirping of crickets that serve as nature's quiet lullaby. The dream catcher, a faint outline against the velvet blackness, remains steadfast, its purpose ingrained in the very air around it. It's a profound sense of security, knowing that this delicate sentinel is working on your behalf, sifting through the unseen currents of the dream world. This quiet assurance is a feeling often lost in the bustling modern day, where peace of mind often comes with a hefty price tag or requires endless meditation apps. Here, it simply is. The act of passing down the knowledge of crafting dream catchers was not a casual affair. It was a deeply respected tradition, often entrusted to grandmothers or other elder women within the Anishinaabe community. These matriarchs, embodying wisdom and nurturing care, would guide younger generations through the intricate process, not just of weaving the physical object, but of understanding its spiritual significance. This intergenerational transfer of knowledge, particularly the role of elders in cultural preservation, is a major historical fact across many indigenous cultures. It ensures the continuity of traditions, keeping the flame of ancestral wisdom alive. Imagine learning complex spiritual technology from someone who has literally decades of experience, all without a single PowerPoint presentation. It sounds quite refreshing, doesn't it? The lessons went beyond mere technique. They included stories of the spider, the bringer of the web, and teachings about the natural materials, emphasizing respect for the willow, the sinew, and the feathers. One obscure cultural tidbit is that sometimes a special song or chant would be sung quietly during the weaving process, imbuing the dream catcher with additional blessings and protective energy. It was like embedding a silent spiritual mantra directly into the very fibers of the object. Historians still debate the specific variations in these songs and their precise meanings across different family lineages, as many were kept sacred within individual clans. But the intention was always clear: to create an object of profound spiritual power, not just a pretty item for the wall. As you feel the gentle tug of sleep, you can almost hear the faint echoes of these ancient songs, woven into the quiet fabric of the night, a timeless melody of protection and peace. As the night continues its slow, deliberate march, the air grows stiller, colder, and the faint whisper of the wind through the pines becomes almost imperceptible. The stars seem to draw closer, their brilliance intensified by the profound darkness of the wilderness. You are deeply settled now, immersed in the quiet embrace of the ancient forest. The dream catcher, a silent guardian in the darkness, seems to merge with the night, its presence a subtle hum in the vast silence. It's a comfort that seeps into your bones, a sense of deep, protective peace. This feeling is far more profound than any security system, relying not on alarms and cameras, but on the quiet, enduring power of belief and ancestral wisdom. The evolution of the dream catcher's design over time, particularly as it moved beyond its original Anishinaabe context, is a subtle but interesting aspect of its history. While the core elements, the hoop, the web, and the adornments remained consistent, variations in materials, size, and decorative elements emerged. This adaptability, while sometimes leading to commercialization, also allowed the symbol to resonate with a wider audience, becoming a universal emblem of protection and positive dreams. This gradual evolution and adaptation are a major historical fact in the journey of many cultural artifacts, demonstrating how objects can take on new life and meaning in different contexts. It's like a classic folk song that gets covered by different artists, each adding their own subtle flavor while retaining the original melody. You might imagine the countless subtle variations, each one a testament to individual creativity within a shared tradition. One obscure cultural tidbit is that very small, delicate dream catchers were sometimes made and tied to a baby's cradleboard, ensuring constant protection even as they were carried through daily life, not just during sleep. It was like a portable shield for their nascent dreams. Historians still debate the exact reasons for the varying sizes and applications of dream catchers, though practical considerations and specific ceremonial purposes likely played a role. But the continuous thread was always the intention of protective energy. As the very last vestiges of wakefulness recede, you can almost feel the gentle current of good dreams, guided by the silent, watchful presence of the dream catcher, ushering you into a profound and restorative sleep. Its work is quiet, tireless, and eternally comforting. As the night reaches its deepest point, the air is at its coolest, and the forest is steeped in a profound, hushed stillness. The stars above shimmer with an almost otherworldly intensity, each one a tiny point of light in the vast cosmic tapestry. You are enveloped in this ancient quiet, feeling the slow, steady pulse of the earth beneath you. The dream catcher, a barely visible outline against the darkness, remains a steadfast presence, its delicate form holding the weight of centuries of belief and protection. It's a feeling of deep, untroubled peace, far removed from the constant digital chatter of your modern life back in, say, Mardin, Pakistan. Here, the only notifications are the whispers of the wind and the gentle shift of unseen nocturnal creatures. The symbolism of the spider within Anishinaabeg culture and its connection to the dream catcher is a deeply fascinating aspect that often goes unappreciated. The spider, often associated with grandfather Spider-Woman, was seen as a protector, particularly of children. Her intricate webs were the inspiration for the dream catcher's design, mimicking her ability to weave protective patterns. This reverence for the spider as a benevolent, creative, and protective entity is a major historical fact in Anishinaabe cosmology, a far cry from the modern-day instinct to reach for a shoe when one spots an eight-legged friend. Imagine a world where a spider in your home is a sign of good fortune, not a cause for a minor panic attack. The legend of Isubakashi tells how she would care for the children of her people, spinning a delicate, magical web over their cradles to filter out bad dreams and allow only good ones to pass through. As the Anishinaabe nation grew and spread out across the land, it became harder for Isubakashi to reach all the children. So, she taught the grandmothers how to weave these protective webs, the dream catchers, to help her in her sacred task. One obscure cultural tidbit is that some interpretations held that the single bead often found in the center of the web represented the spider itself, sitting at the heart of its creation, or perhaps a drop of dew, which would evaporate the bad dreams with the morning light. Historians still debate the precise variations of this founding myth across different Anishinaabe storytellers, as oral traditions often adapt and evolve slightly over time while retaining core elements. But the central theme of a benevolent spider protecting sleepers through its web remains a powerful and beautiful narrative, intricately woven into the very fabric of the dream catcher's purpose. As the pre-dawn stillness settles, the world around you seems to hold its breath. The stars, though still brilliant, begin to soften, their sharp edges blurring ever so slightly as the faint blush of impending dawn touches the eastern horizon. The air is at its coldest, carrying a crisp, clean scent, a final, refreshing embrace before the warmth of the sun returns. You are in a profound state of quietude, feeling the deep, restorative peace that only a night spent under ancient trees can offer. The dream catcher, now almost indistinguishable from the shadows, maintains its silent vigil, its presence a subtle hum of protective energy that seems to resonate with the very earth. It's a feeling of utter security, a gentle anchoring in the vastness of the cosmos, far more effective than any alarm clock at preparing you for the day. The cultural resurgence and modern interpretations of the dream catcher have seen it evolve beyond its original spiritual context into a broader symbol of hope, protection, and connection to indigenous heritage. While this widespread adoption has its complexities, as mentioned earlier, it also speaks to the enduring power and appeal of the dream catcher's core message. This global recognition of the dream catcher as a symbol of protection and good dreams, despite its original specific cultural context, is a major historical fact of its journey into the 21st century. It's a testament to the universality of human needs for security and positive well-being during sleep, transcending geographical and cultural boundaries. It's almost as if the concept itself decided to go viral long before the internet existed. However, it's crucial to understand that while the dream catcher has found new life in popular culture, its original meaning and sacredness are still deeply held by indigenous communities. One obscure cultural tidbit is that in some modern indigenous communities, new protocols and ceremonies have been developed for teaching dream catcher, crafting to ensure that the traditional knowledge and spiritual significance are preserved and respected, even as the object gains wider recognition. These efforts often involve strict guidelines on materials and intent, differentiating authentic pieces from commercial imitations. Historians still debate the optimal strategies for cultural groups to navigate the balance between sharing their heritage and preventing exploitation or misrepresentation. But the continued dedication to preserving the true spirit of the dream catcher highlights its profound and enduring importance within its originating cultures. As the first pale light of dawn begins to touch the highest branches, you feel the gentle stir of awakening, your mind refreshed, your spirit at peace, knowing that the quiet wisdom of the dream catcher continues its timeless work, even as the world around it changes. As the first golden rays of dawn finally break through the dense canopy, painting the forest floor in shifting patterns of light and shadow, the dream catcher begins to reveal itself in full detail once more. The dew-kissed feathers shimmer, and the intricate web, no longer just a silhouette, shows the careful artistry of its creation. You feel the gentle warmth of the sun on your face, a comforting sensation that ushers in the waking world. The sounds of the forest awaken with the light, the cheerful chirping of unseen birds, the rustle of leaves as small creatures begin their day, the distant murmur of a stream. This transition from the deep quiet of night to the gentle vibrancy of morning is a daily miracle. And having experienced it here, under the watchful eye of the dream catcher, it feels particularly profound. It's a far more peaceful start than the insistent buzz of a phone alarm, a sound that, let's be honest, often feels like a direct assault on your peaceful slumber. The journey of the dream catcher from its origins as a specific Anishinaabe spiritual tool to a widely recognized global symbol is a testament to the universality of its core message of protection and hope. While its primary association remains with the Ojibwe, its adoption by other indigenous nations, particularly during periods of cultural exchange and revitalization, solidified its place as an emblem of broader Native American identity. This process of cultural diffusion and symbolic adoption, where an object's meaning expands to represent a wider group, is a major historical fact in the study of cultural anthropology. It showcases how powerful symbols can transcend their initial tribal boundaries to foster a sense of shared heritage. Imagine a historical version of a viral meme, but with far more spiritual depth and considerably less fleeting popularity. However, this journey wasn't without its nuanced challenges. The transition from a sacred, community-specific item to a mass-produced commodity sometimes led to a disconnect from its original profound spiritual context. One obscure cultural tidbit is that traditionally, a dream catcher would eventually deteriorate and fall apart naturally, symbolizing the ephemeral nature of dreams themselves and the continuous cycle of life. It was not meant to last forever as a rigid, unchanging artifact. This stands in stark contrast to the durable, often plastic-rind versions sold today, which are designed for permanence, subtly altering the original philosophy. Historians still debate the best methods for educating the wider public about the sacred origins of such items, fostering appreciation without encouraging appropriation. But the enduring allure of the dream catcher speaks to a universal human yearning for a safe, peaceful night's rest, a desire that transcends time, place, and even the relentless tick-tock of the clock here in Mardin, Pakistan. The quiet wisdom woven into its web continues to resonate, even as the sun climbs higher, ushering in a new day. The morning light now fully bathes the clearing, revealing every dew-kissed leaf and every intricate pattern of bark. The air has warmed considerably, carrying the distinct scent of photosynthesis at full throttle, that fresh green aroma unique to a thriving forest. You feel the renewed energy of the day, a subtle invitation to rise and move with the rhythm of the natural world. The dream catcher, illuminated by the sun, seems to pulsate with a quiet vitality, its feathers gently stirring in the rising warmth, a silent testament to its nocturnal duties completed. It's a feeling of refreshing clarity, far more invigorating than that third cup of coffee you might normally reach for, and without the subsequent caffeine crash. The purpose of the hole in the center of the dream catcher's web is a crucial element that distinguishes it from a mere filter. It wasn't about catching everything. It was about discernment, about allowing beneficial energies to pass through. The Anishinaabe believed that good dreams, the ones carrying guidance, inspiration, or comfort, knew the way through this central opening, gliding down the attached feathers to the sleeping person below. This selective passage, allowing the positive while trapping the negative, is a major historical fact of its design philosophy. It's a sophisticated system, far more nuanced than a simple catch-all net. Imagine a highly intelligent bouncer at the Dream Club, only letting in the VIPs. Conversely, the bad dreams, the confusing or frightening ones, were believed to become entangled in the intricate web itself, held there until the first rays of the morning sun struck them. With the dawn, these negative energies would evaporate, much like dew disappears with the warmth of the day. One obscure cultural tidbit is that some variations of the legend suggest that certain types of troublemaking spirits or mischievous entities also became ensnared in the web, preventing them from disturbing the sleeper. Historians still debate the specific types of nightmares or negative influences that were explicitly targeted, as dream interpretation and spiritual threats could be highly personal or communally understood. But the ingenious simplicity of using the sun's purifying power to dissipate negative dream energies is a profound concept, a testament to a deep understanding of natural cycles and spiritual principles. As the day unfolds around you, feel the lingering peace of a night well guarded, a quiet confidence that only beneficial energies have touched your slumber. As the morning progresses towards midday, the sun climbs higher and its light becomes more direct, cutting through the forest canopy in sharp, defined shafts. The air is now fully warm, filled with the hum of insects and the distant, lively chatter of unseen birds. You feel the vibrant energy of the waking world, a time for movement and engagement. The dream catcher, still gracefully suspended, appears bathed in light, its colors vibrant, its form a silent sentinel against the backdrop of the verdant forest. Its nocturnal work is complete, and it now stands as a quiet reminder of protection, a symbol of the peaceful transition from darkness to light. It's a feeling of contentment, a peaceful acceptance of the day's unfolding, far more satisfying than scrolling through a never-ending feed of online content. The feathers used in dream catchers were not merely decorative attachments. They held profound symbolic meaning and were considered sacred conduits for dreams. The type of bird from which the feather came often carried specific associations that enriched the dream catcher's protective and guiding properties. For instance, eagle feathers were highly revered, symbolizing courage, strength, wisdom, and a direct connection to the Great Spirit or Creator. Owl feathers, representing wisdom, discernment, and the ability to see clearly in darkness, were also significant choices. This careful selection of feathers based on the inherent spiritual qualities of the bird is a major historical fact in the construction of a traditional dream catcher. It reflects a deep respect for the animal world and a belief in its powerful spiritual contributions. It's like choosing a specific superhero for a very particular mission, but with far more feathers and considerably less spandex. The way the feathers were attached also held meaning. They were often left to hang freely, allowing the good dreams to gently waft down to the sleeper, almost like a soft invisible slide. One obscure cultural tidbit is that for a baby's dream catcher, often a single, very soft down feather was attached, symbolizing the gentle breath of the Creator entering the child's life, or the softness of a parent's touch. Historians still debate the regional variations in which bird feathers were most commonly used and their precise localized interpretations, as different communities would have emphasized certain animal spirits based on their immediate environment and spiritual beliefs. But the core principle remained. The feathers were the gentle pathway for the good, nurturing dreams to descend. As the forest buzzes with the activity of midday, you can almost feel the lingering echoes of those ancient beliefs, woven into the very fabric of the dream catcher, a timeless testament to nature's profound wisdom. As the sun begins its slow descent, painting the western sky with long golden streaks, the light filtering through the forest canopy grows softer, more diffused. The sharp edges of midday give way to a gentler glow, and the air begins to carry a subtle hint of evening coolness. You feel the day gradually winding down, a natural invitation to shift from activity to a more contemplative state. The dream catcher, still gracefully suspended, seems to absorb the mellowing light, its intricate web and soft feathers taking on a warm, almost luminous quality. It's a feeling of transition, a quiet movement towards the reflective hours of night, far more calming than the frantic rush of evening chores. Here, in this ancient forest, time seems to flow with an unhurried grace. The commercialization and widespread cultural appropriation of the dream catcher, while contributing to its global recognition, also presented significant challenges to its original cultural meaning and sacredness. As it moved from being a specific spiritual tool of the Anishinaabe to a ubiquitous item in gift shops worldwide, its profound purpose was often diluted, misunderstood, or entirely lost. This tension between cultural sharing and cultural appropriation is a major historical fact in the modern history of many indigenous artifacts. It highlights the complexities of cultural exchange in a globalized world, where a sacred item can become a generic trinket, stripped of its soul. It's like turning a priceless religious relic into a cheap keychain. The form remains, but the essence is gone. This commercialization often meant that dream catchers were produced with little to no understanding or respect for the traditional materials, methods, or spiritual intentions. They might be made with plastic hoops, synthetic string, and artificial feathers, far removed from the willow, sinew, and natural plumage of their ancestors. One obscure cultural tidbit is that in some indigenous communities, there are specific teachings about the spirit of the materials themselves, believing that the natural elements used in crafting held their own inherent power and connection to the earth, which could not be replicated by artificial substitutes. Historians still debate the best strategies for indigenous communities to reclaim and protect their cultural heritage in the face of such widespread commercialization, balancing education with preservation. but the quiet resilience of the original meaning persists, a silent reminder that true power often lies in authenticity and deep connection, far from the fleeting trends of the marketplace. As twilight begins to fall, the Dreamcatcher, in its original form, remains a beacon of this quiet, enduring wisdom. As the last vestiges of daylight fade from the sky, a profound darkness begins to settle over the forest. The stars, one by one, prick through the deepening blue, eventually filling the expanse above with their ancient, shimmering light. The air is cool and still, carrying the crisp scent of night, a refreshing balm after the day's warmth. You are deeply immersed in this nocturnal embrace, feeling the quiet pulse of the wilderness all around you. The Dreamcatcher, now almost invisible against the backdrop of the night sky, performs its silent vigil, its presence a subtle hum of protective energy. It's a feeling of deep, unburdened peace, a gentle release from the day's concerns, far more effective than any sleep aid available at your local pharmacy in Marden. The enduring legacy and resilience of the Dreamcatcher, despite the challenges of commercialization and cultural appropriation, speak volumes about the power of its original meaning and the strength of indigenous cultures. While often misrepresented, the Dreamcatcher continues to serve as a vital symbol of identity, spirituality, and resistance for many indigenous peoples. This enduring significance, even in the face of adversity, is a major historical fact that highlights the incredible resilience of cultural traditions. It's like a deep-rooted tree that bends with the strongest winds but never breaks, always finding a way to grow and thrive. You can almost feel the quiet strength emanating from this simple, yet profoundly meaningful object. Contemporary indigenous artists and craftspeople continue to create Dreamcatchers using traditional methods and materials, meticulously preserving the ancestral knowledge and spiritual integrity. They often educate others about the true meaning and history, serving as guardians of this sacred tradition. One obscure cultural tidbit is that some modern interpretations incorporate contemporary materials while still adhering to the spiritual principles, creating innovative pieces that bridge the gap between tradition and modernity, ensuring the Dreamcatcher remains a living, evolving symbol. Historians still debate the extent to which these modern adaptations successfully balance cultural preservation with artistic expression, as new forms emerge while honoring ancient roots. But the consistent thread is a profound respect for the original teachings. As the night deepens, drawing you closer to the threshold of sleep, the quiet wisdom of the Dreamcatcher continues to offer its timeless promise of protection and peaceful dreams, a legacy woven through generations, stretching from ancient forests to quiet corners of the world, even to where you lie now, in Marden, Pakistan. The night has reached its profound zenith, a vast, silent expanse stretching infinitely above. The stars blaze with an otherworldly intensity, each one a distant sun, a timeless beacon in the cosmic ocean. The air is still, cold, and utterly pure, carrying the subtle, calming scent of ancient earth and the unseen mysteries of the forest. You are entirely enveloped in this deep, protective quietude, feeling the gentle, rhythmic breath of the earth beneath you, a soft lullaby vibrating through the very ground. The Dreamcatcher, a faint, almost ethereal silhouette against the velvety blackness, maintains its tireless vigil, its delicate web and soft feathers absorbing the silent energy of the universe, a continuous, quiet hum of protection that resonates with every fiber of your being. It's a feeling of absolute surrender, a release from all tension, a profound sense of peace that wraps around you like the softest blanket, inviting you deeper and deeper into the embrace of restorative sleep. The concerns of the waking world, the endless demands of the modern day, the very concept of time itself, all begin to recede, melting into the vast, calm ocean of slumber. You are drifting now, suspended between worlds, aware of the gentle flow of your own breath, the slow, steady beat of your heart, each rhythm a part of the grand ancient song of existence. The dream catcher has done its work, filtering the restless energies of the night, holding fast to any lingering anxieties, and allowing only the purest, most comforting dreams to alight upon your consciousness, to gently guide you into the deepest, most tranquil realms of sleep. Imagine those good dreams like tiny luminous motes of light, softly descending upon you, each one a whisper of peace, a comforting image, a fleeting sense of joy that settles gently within your mind. The forest around you, the ancient trees, stand as silent witnesses to this timeless process, their roots reaching deep into the earth, their branches stretching towards the stars, connecting the physical and the spiritual, the seen and the unseen, in an unbroken circle of life and quiet wisdom. The wisdom of the dream catcher is not loud or demanding. It is a quiet wisdom, a gentle understanding of the delicate balance between our inner and outer worlds, between the conscious and the subconscious. It reminds us that even in our most vulnerable state, during sleep, there is a possibility for protection, for guidance, for renewal. It speaks to the enduring power of belief, the profound comfort found in ritual, and the deep, inherent connection between humanity and the natural world. As you slip fully into the embrace of slumber, feeling the soft weight of profound peace settle upon you, know that this ancient knowledge, this quiet, protective art, continues its timeless dance, filtering the night, guiding the light, and ensuring that your journey into dreams is one of gentle serenity, a quiet voyage into the depths of peaceful rest, until the gentle light of morning calls you softly back to the waking world.